zeker. Wir sind live. Yes, yes. I found it on Google Drive.
Super.
Because I can just find it since I opened that Google Drive in the first place.
Mhm. Yeah.
But you made the topics. Welcome. Good evening.
Yay.
Yay. So after
Of
a
course, you were busy with
exhausting,
these children, so
yep, exhausting day for me, even when I didn't really do that much, I saw the building which we rented. I saw it like 40 times, the kitchen,
yeah.
because they didn't install a water hose, so I had to go inside to actually fill the water bottles, which
All
is
right.
quite annoying. Because you have to walk,
Yes.
well, you have to walk a certain distance because the field while the children are playing, and then you have the building. But in between there is a little a bike lane,
Mhm.
very small bike lane, and people are passing by, and it's a little bit of
Yeah.
a distance to get inside. But yeah, we have to go inside because tomorrow they actually said it were raining.
Yay. Wasn't it raining today? We had some rain here.
No, well at
Ah,
the end
okay. You were
actually
lucky.
at 5 o'clock we had actually rain, and then all the
Okay.
tent and then we get some wind, so all the tents are actually going up in the air because actually our tents are so old. I mean, it's a miracle they're still standing.
Yeah. Then they've been ripping apart by now.
Yeah, we have them for like 11 years now, since 12 years, since I started Child Village in
Yeah.
2008.
At some point, the fabric will start.
Well, actually, the metal is still okay, but
Yeah.
the fabric actually itself, like the tent
Fabric will
itself,
deteriorate, and at some point it will rip. So
now actually, well,
or just fall
actually,
apart.
it doesn't really rip yet. It's already doing that, but it's still okay. But it's smelly like hell because they never dry it out. So
Hmm.
it's actually rotten. It's actually,
Ah.
well,
Oh, that's
actually,
also bad for your health. All this fungus. Ugh.
we cleaned it off with alcohol. So we actually
Mhm.
cleaned it off with alcohol and Dettol. But actually, those tents are actually out. We have to replace them, and
Yeah.
we hope they'll
Let's throw it
recover.
away and buy some new ones.
Yep, which are expensive, and that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
little
Good
part.
tent is expensive. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, so that's what I did today, and you did working, of course, and you made up the topics for this evening.
I made phone calls all day, and I got another compliment by my boss, who actually said, "Well, we're listening calls, and they were so great, and your focus points are so good at the moment." So, well, thank you very much.
Wow. Does she want something from you or so, or?
I don't know. I think she's married, so
Wow, she's really close.
nowadays doesn't mean anything.
So, but the other part is actually, I was actually for the music there today, so I had to make all the music, over the speakers. Already a few people were starting to complain. Yes, what is this noise? And I said, it's music, man.
Well, it's
Um,
German marching music. Don't you like it?
yeah, but why wasn't I informed? And I said, actually, you were, but
But you
actually,
never responded.
no, but you people always complain when Child Village is at this location. People always complain about the music. Yeah, but why can you not change the audio to the other part of this field? And I said, well, we can. We could do that. But do you want to pay for the power extension leads? Because if we have to do that, we have to get an extension lead of 100 meters to get it to the other side of the field and
Wow.
actually turn around the audio. Yeah, but can you not change the audio cables then? I said, no,
Nope.
that will be very expensive. And then we can get audio latency, which we don't want. Then have to install a different system, um, which we don't because it's all stolen 2 years ago out of our
Yeah.
storage.
Was it all stolen?
The Child Village own audio equipment was
So
stolen. Yeah, they
okay.
just stole it.
Nice.
Yep, so my lovely audio equipment, which I actually repaired because the amplifiers were dead, and I repaired it. I soldered it on. Uh,
I can't remember you were talking about it a few years ago. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's quite funny.
It's just stupid if they steal public stuff.
Yep,
I never understand that. And how much was it worth? Probably not a lot.
not a lot actually, but we actually
Uh,
upgraded the amplifier, so because we can do that because I'm a nerd, so I can. Yay!
just because you can.
So yeah.
So, but with which topic do you want to start? I think you should start with your ProArt, Asus ProArt P90.
No, actually, since that's the first thing on the list, we have to start with our Valve inline moderation of the workshop or something.
Yes, I thought since Valve is so much is a bit cracking down. Maybe it has a bit of a history. Valve is a bit cracking down on reviews of people recently because they're not very happy how people some guys can completely downvote a game. So
Wow.
they downvote a game that much that fucks up basically, which is a very good thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
if you
yeah.
mess up with your discount or you pull some bullshit or you try to pull some bullshit, then people will downvote you. So now they've been cracking down a little bit on the reviews, and now they also started. But apparently, that seems to be a good thing. Apparently, they started to moderating Steam Workshop items, which I
Okay.
always like a lot because Steam Workshop is it's not a cesspool or anything. It's just like a creative place where people make all kinds of mods for games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Apparently, they do something illegal from time to time. I don't know. I've never noticed it. But yeah,
Me
I love
neither.
it. It's just like what people used to do on separate website that do through Steam. So they don't ruin the game, they just improve it. And there's a lot of creative people there who make really awesome things. Sometimes they make mods, completely turn around the game, make it way better.
So,
So
moderation process.
yeah,
Okay.
we have to see where this is going with moderating. I mean, they're moderating, and they say it is because to take out the bad shit, which from time to time happens. With some games, it seems to be terrible, but I don't know. It seems a bit odd that they moderate the Steam Workshop and you have to wait a day
And
before
then
your
after
mod is
so
getting.
many years that the Steam Workshop is
Yeah,
already there, I mean, I would totally agree on the part that people are actually doing all that scamming
yeah,
and scammer,
exactly.
yeah.
Or illegal things, I understand why they want to take that out, but do you really have to do it like this? I mean,
No,
I don't know.
my
And it's
opinion, you don't have to, which it is
now
quite sad though.
seems like another crackdown on the creative people who really sometimes really make games better. I know from Football Manager. I have to talk about it, of course.
Of course,
Uh,
yes.
I always get my databases from there. There are people who actually are spending weeks and months on players improving their stats and just typing and coding and whatever they do, and just put in databases of the latest transfers until today. They put in a new database with latest transfers. It's awesome. It's really good work that people do. So, and it really improves your game because you can keep it healthy for quite a long time. So yeah, if they're gonna
Yeah.
moderate that, what are they gonna do with it? So it all seems a little bit suspicious.
Well, we will never know until we actually find it ourselves. I mean, I'm seeing that now in an article. But how is it actually going to be? I mean, are they actually
Yeah.
going to moderate it like they're actually saying in the article? I don't think
Well,
so.
they say it's gonna sometimes it's just gonna be an hour, and I can imagine for simple things it might be an hour, but it can take up to 24. So if you upload something, they're really gonna look into it, what it is doing, and I don't know. It seems a bit weird again. Another crackdown on
it, it,
creativity.
it sounds like, which is actually quite sad. And no, computer, I cannot use
Yeah,
a lower preset.
because if you start doing this, you can say like, oh well, my publisher is not very happy that they're gonna bring out a mod that actually extends the game life. Let's not do that. Let's say it's bad and let's take it out.
Of
So
course.
yeah, I see it not very, as a very positive thing, but we have to see how it plays out, of course. But
No, that's the other part. I don't really use Steam that often, so
oh,
I
I
don't
know,
really care. But
but I do.
although I can imagine
A lot of
that
people
if
do.
you're a Steam user and you're uploading mods regularly, and now you have to wait because there's a moderation process,
Yeah,
and
exactly. And like you have Star Wars games, who always have a lot of how's this called? The Star Wars game. Um, Well, there's a one very popular one. There's this shitload of mods for the game, and it just makes the game much better and much more interesting, and it prolongs the life. And I can imagine with newer games that they will say, well, let's not do that because it makes the game longer, and we want to sell DLC, and
of course, I mean, selling
doesn't seem like a
DLC is
good thing.
okay. That's true.
Yeah,
But it has some good points and some bad points. But I think we have to see how they are actually going to do that.
yeah. Let's see.
Let's see. Yeah, we will see. Maybe also with your football manager, they're finally going to cut down all of it. Maybe at some
Yeah,
point.
they might crack down on rights of players even. That they say, well, this portrait rights are not allowed, and you cannot change it, and yeah, it's always a bit shady what they're gonna do with it. So
Well, we will see, and I'm also
yeah,
very happy that my very cheap microphone is still working. Um,
yeah, me too. So I can at least hear you.
well, actually, I was planning to go to the store today to pick it up, but I was actually thinking, okay, it's going to rain. I want to go home. I'm done. So yeah.
Running
Well,
around, annoying children all day.
well, actually, I was
Uncle
thinking.
Ronnie.
Well, actually, I was thinking because they were complaining about music.
Yeah.
I was complaining that there were a lot of big children, but they were actually quite small this year. So
Oh, okay.
they were also looking quite young and they were also quite small. So I was also thinking, okay, this is actually a young bunch of children. But that's the reason why they all like to dance on the music because they are quite young and they like to
Yeah, they always
dance.
like to do that. They start moving and jumping around and.
But even last year, I had some 12-year-olds in my group, and they were actually, I said, if you don't dance, I will take away your hammer, and you have to sit there all day. Yeah, but no, otherwise, if you don't dance,
Take away your hammer.
I will ground you for the rest of the
I'll
day,
ground you. I will nail this nail right through your foot in the ground.
and
Bang,
then I will
bang,
nail you to the ground.
just like Jesus.
So, well, sometimes that works. Um, so yeah, that
Right.
was the fun part. So the next topic is actually
Next topic.
Harmony OS from Huawei, or actually, how do you want to call it? I would
Yes.
say Huawei.
One of my favorites because I actually do like Huawei. They were on before it got known that they were like a spying for the Chinese government. They were actually making quite good, at least middle of the road phones that were okay for a
Actually,
fine
I have
price.
my sister's phone. I have her
Yeah.
old Huawei because I can use it to make YouTube videos. Because the camera on that phone is just amazingly good. It's
Yeah.
the P30 from last year. Um, which is actually a quite good phone. I actually have to say I like the camera. The only downside is, in my opinion, that Huawei is also getting a little bit more expensive than it was before. But hey, that's
Mm.
with all phones these days.
Yeah, maybe it's because of successful. They just want to make more money, and indeed, the phones are popular. So yeah,
Even in the beginning with OnePlus, it was actually a very cheap phone, but nowadays it's
yeah.
actually quite expensive.
That's why we will come to the other one in a
Yep,
few minutes.
yep.
But yeah, they're looking to launch their own OS. What I've seen from it, people are actually quite enthusiastic. It's actually it's not Android, but you can use materials to program Android together with it. Something I read about it.
Well, actually,
And
what I'm reading here is that it's open source, so you can actually
yeah,
use
that's what I meant.
the source code. So you can
Yeah,
actually maybe even, in fact, use APK files actually on your
so you can insert
device.
your own stuff into the operating system. So it's actually quite a good idea for a phone company to do
Yeah,
that. Maybe it's a bit of a last
maybe.
ditch attempt because they're losing Android support.
Well, actually, I think that is actually quite good to have something else than only like fucking
Yeah,
Android and
I didn't see it
iOS.
as a bad thing. Although you always have to be mindful that the Chinese government is probably spying in it somewhere. But
Actually, I know that with all Chinese phone you buy, even with fucking iPhone, I know they can do that. And I'm actually, if the Chinese government is doing that on my phone, I won't even complain because I already know that that's going to happen. I already know the first day I signed up for Google, they already know everything about me because
yeah,
I
I
said
know, but that's not spying. Eh? Spying something different, of course. That's
true.
without your knowledge. With Google, you know that they listen, they collect all kinds of data of you.
I mean, if I'm going to China, for example, I actually still want to go to China, but if I go to China, I have to really shut up my mouth because otherwise I will get arrested in China because I already
Yeah.
know. And I
You
will
better not walk around marching with your right arm up.
actually, if they
That's
then
something they don't like in China.
no, but if they do that, I will say civil rights. I have rights.
Well, in
Um,
China nobody has rights.
no,
look at
but
look at Hong
actually,
Kong. They're
I like
passing your brains.
I mean, I like the country, but when I go there, I would actually say that computer ID has a very wide background, which is quite annoying. It looks like hard-coded info at some point. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's quite cool. And I know that when I'm going to China, I probably will get Spider. I know. I already know that when I'm thinking of China, I know the few words that is like I have to say nasi bami. That's something I know from China. This the Chinese food. I know about a beautiful country. I know it's cheap. I know they're actually manipulating their own currency to keep it in favor of themselves. I already know that part because that's actually not surprising to me at all. And I'm already knowing since the first time I was actually when I was at elementary school. I already know China. They were always spying you because I saw that in Chinese movies. Because I actually watch a lot of Jackie Chan originals, which are actually officially in Chinese. so, which
Jesus Christ.
well, actually, I can tell you they are quite good. The originals from Jackie Chan from the 80s, they are
Isn't like the
awesome.
language extremely annoying? I would just be annoyed if this Chinese mumbling all the time.
But it's actually in Chinese, Mandarin Chinese. So I want to learn that language. I'm
Oh
actually
well,
thinking of to
might
actually
be useful.
follow a course Chinese Mandarin.
Yeah, why not? Of course you can learn it. I mean, speaking it probably is less difficult than you might think.
True, true.
It's just like any other language. Learn to speak it is usually not the most difficult part.
No, it's definitely not.
Just remember, 你好吗?
大家就是
你那好. Here's an democrat.
Well, actually, so I already know that part of China. Even when I go to a Chinese supermarket, because I buy a lot of stuff from those what we call tokos, but they're actually Chinese and Japanese and Asian.
I
I
would just say
already
it's
know that they
probably
will.
more stuff from Suriname than.
Actually, when I go to to the local one in Arnhem, I know it's not Suriname or whatever. It's actually Chinese or Japanese.
Yeah, it's all a bit tropical. I mean, it's all a bit diffuse.
But I already know that China will spy and they will do that. People also knowing that, but they're actually just too ignorant to actually acknowledge that they actually know it. So they will now buy, for example, when Huawei comes with this phone, they come with the operating system. People will hate it or love it. And then
Talking more about China.
And then and 1 year later, we will all complain. Yeah, they did spy on us because that's how stupid the world is. So yeah. So.
Talking about some good things, other but from China. Xiaomi.
Yeah, they actually the 9T. Actually.
Yes, they released actually a whole not a line, but several models of this MI-9 phone.
I actually saw it today because I was actually browsing the web. I actually saw a review of it, and I'm actually not surprised at all because Xiaomi is so goddamn Chinese.
It's the same as with my Motorola phone. It's just a middle of the road phone, but just a little bit better for a good price. And it does what it has to do, especially if you have the higher memory range, because it also comes with 128 gigabytes. It starts with 64, I think, which is already quite good. And it's just actually quite good. It's just a little bit better than middle of the road, so that makes it a better phone. And one fun thing, one tweaky thing, is that there's like a selfie cam electrically coming out of the phone. Like, whoop, it flops out.
Yep,
and then it really shifts out of the phone. So it's just a tiny little thing that's on the top of the phone, and then you can make a selfie for that.
Well, I will actually look it up on hardware.info, which I already did.
Yeah, I did some pre-research.
Well, actually, it's actually pretty good, and by comparison, I mean,
it's probably cheaper than a Samsung. At some point, it's even better than a Samsung S10.
Well, actually, even if when I have to go back to like Android, because I will do. I mean, I'm actually having an Android phone to make all these videos, so I don't have to use my daily driver. That's
nothing wrong with Android phones.
Which is actually an iPhone. But the fact is that I'm looking for a decent Android phone with a decent camera, with enough memory, where I can do all this filming on, and maybe use it as a streaming device, and I don't have to use my iPhone. Because I love my iPhone, I love Apple products, but in my opinion, even the latest iPhones. When I was actually seeing the WWDC, I was actually thinking, okay, quite cool. Yes, I already see that what you're doing.
Grapple.
But
Boo.
I
I
was
crap from Grapple.
I was
Boo.
actually quite happy with the new iPhones and also with the new lineup. But then I was seeing the price and I was actually saying, okay, Apple, I know that you can just you can do this. I mean, if you make
Yeah,
it like a
pull it out.
$2,000 phone, they will buy
Some
it.
people will still buy it. Yeah.
If you make $1,000 stand for a screen, they will buy it. Because Apple is quite genius in that. People will buy it anyway because it's Apple. Because they will do that. So they already know if people buy their insanely expensive $5,000 screen or $6,000, I don't know, or $4,000, I actually don't know. I can't remember how much it was, and I'm actually can't bother to actually search it on the internet even when
But
I.
yeah, the good thing about this Xiaomi phone is it has a USB-C port and it has a 3.5 millimeter jack. And previously it was gone, but now they put it back because people, well, complained or requested this audio jack. Because quite a lot of people seems to enjoy using still a wired connection for the headphones. And so yeah, that's why they put it back. The camera came out a little bit better um, than like the middle of the road phones, and even better than the S10 one. The battery is not that good. I think it depends on the model. It only lasts for about a day, so yeah, it's not that good.
Yeah.
But for
Well,
this price, I don't think you can demand a lot more.
well, actually, I had to
So
recommend someone a phone, and I just was well, if you buy the phone, then here's the battery bank according to it. Yeah, but why do I need a battery bank? And I said, well, you're using a high-end phone, even when
uh,
there's a cheaper brand.
yeah, I
Uh,
hated my Samsung Galaxy S6 that I had. It was terrible. It just drained within less than a day. It was horrible.
the head camera has a 48 megapixel sensor from Sony. Okay.
Yeah, and the processor is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 730, which is one of the more high-end chips nowadays. It's based on ARM V8, so it's brand new actually. So that
Yeah.
actually is really good. And they were also very happy about. You can even take pictures in HD, video in HD, with 30 FPS.
Yep, and they also have a slow motion camera. Okay,
Yeah,
with 960 FPS. Oh my god, that's quite fun.
yeah, like I said, and it's all if you buy it brand new. You can find it already for 319 euros. So it's
Yeah.
just slightly more expensive than the Motorola that I have, which is a great price for a good phone.
Nope.
I would say just go out and buy it.
Let's see. Well, I mean, yeah, it looks pretty promising, but again, it's Chinese, which most products are. So Xiaomi left and the Galaxy S10. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm actually, if I look at the picture and I'm not enlarging it, I will do. Okay, so this is the Xiaomi version. Okay.
Oh yeah, they only say it's not the finished phone. So yeah, but like I said, for this price,
I don't even care. Okay, so this
no.
is the Xiaomi and this is the Samsung.
And it has an AMOLED display, so yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay, Samsung. Okay, that and this is the Xiaomi, and then this is Samsung. Okay, I have to say that the Xiaomi is doing really well.
Yeah, it's good. Good job.
Good job, actually. Good job. That they actually
So
did
yeah,
something right. I mean, well, actually, in my opinion, like all the Samsung phones were too expensive for me
yeah,
anyway. Because
expensive and bloatware and
who
they just
wants?
put in more and more expensive parts. That's basically what they do.
Well, do we really have to pay like $1,000 to get a
Well,
good
that's
decent
that's the
phone?
question. Do you want to pay thousand euros or $1,000 for a high-end phone that will drain your battery like crazy and with all kinds of shit on it that you basically never use? Because most people use their phone like a personal data assistant. They watch some movies, they look at some email. You don't need all that stuff on a phone.
No.
It's just like with a computer. You buy high-end computers for a specific purpose. And if you wanna just browsing and some YouTube watching and some slight gaming, you buy a middle of the road laptop.
Too
It's the
true.
same thing. So
Well, but I'm actually quite happy with their new phone lineup. Actually, that all the like the budget phones, there were a few years ago they were terrible.
yeah, those
Uh,
were quite terrible. Yeah, I
but
agree.
but nowadays they're actually getting better, and that all has to do with the Chinese market, with all the
Yeah,
duplicates and with all the copying and spying there. It's actually quite decent.
But
And that is the whole.
that's why I bought the Motorola as well. I thought, well, I used to buy a high-end phone, but now I thought, this phone does everything it needs to do. I mean, it's not the fastest. It's a fast phone. It's not the fastest. The internet is not the fastest, but it's still fast enough. And it's only 250 or 260 euros. I mean, it's a steal. It's really a steal if you won't buy it. You don't have to have the newest phone to do everything you want.
No, totally not. Same here. People say, yeah, why do you still use your iPhone? Because I can. Because it's still working for me at all as I want it. I mean.
Yeah, I mean it's just pointless to.
So yeah, that's the reason why I still use my iPhone 6 because it does everything for me it has to do, and nothing more than that. So that is the reason why I still use my iPhone 6 as my daily driver, and I still also have an Android phone, which I also use. But for me, it's working, and I don't need like $1,000 phone because in my opinion, that's actually shit. Why do you need
Yeah,
it? What's
too
the
much
reason?
money. I mean, it's waste of money. It's only a show off item. Like, oh, I got the newest iPhone, but
Yeah, I paid a
I don't
thousand
know.
bucks for it, and then a few years later, you can buy it in China. So
But
I'm
but
actually thinking, by the way, because I saw a video of like strange parts. I'm actually going to make because it's actually quite cheap, and I like to do all that kind of shit. And now my iPhone disconnected for some reason.
oh, your cam broke.
Yeah, but my computer was saying disconnected from the internet, and my
No,
modem is
no.
actually quite hot. So I think my modem can't handle all the data I'm putting through. No, it's my modem. My modem cannot handle all the data I'm putting through. Wow. It's actually giving me an
All right.
overload message. Wow. That is funny.
You're not putting
You,
that much data through it.
you fucking shitty compo. Really. You fucking piece of
Well,
shit.
the audio is still working. I can still hear you.
I know. But the fact,
Hey, there you are. You're back.
look, the fact is I'm using this cheap compo modem because I'm actually not using my expensive hardware, which actually down here. Because I'm actually doing a test. How much can a normal modem, like a regular dying person or a mortal person, which is normal? Well, what's normal for me? A person that doesn't have high-end hardware. How they doing with the internet? Because I have to advise people because that's my work, and I'm also reviewing this crappy piece of shit. But in my opinion, this modem of Zigo, just to make a little shortcut and all the before we go to the next topic. It's an okay modem if you don't do anything more expensive than watching Netflix. If you do anything more than that, like me, you're live streaming, or you actually want to do video production, this thing is crap. It is crap. Don't
You
buy
have
it.
high-end stuff. Why did you employ it for this stream?
Because I'm actually lazy and that I have to put in one Ethernet cable back. And just for this live stream, it's actually also a test because I said to myself, I will test this stupid piece of shit without any pro equipment for 2 months. And I'm only like 2 weeks already into this thing, and this modem died on me a couple of times because it says overload. I'm actually getting a message that my modem is having an overload on data. So the processor in this thing, the Compal, is not able to handle it. Well, the fact is, I spoke with the people of Compal, and this modem actually can do it, but it's actually a firmware limitation. It's just like how this thing is programmed for consumers and not for like the high-end people like me. So that's the whole thing. Oh, and I also see that my camera is not really pointy. But do I care? Yes, I do. I'm not. I'm lying. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's actually quite funny from time to time. This modem cuts out way more often when you're doing like professional grade stuff than this consumer modem will actually just die without any for no reason at all.
Well, I'm still using my good old media box, but it's still working. No
Well,
problem.
well, that's because you have like a real Intel chip in it, and this thing is
Yay!
it's just crap. I mean,
Although slow Intel chip, but
I never really liked Compal in the first place because I don't like any consumer modem in the first place because they are too consumery for me. Because I want to talk to my modem in the command line because that's how you communicate with a modem through a command line. No, for this I have to go to a stupid web interface which is too happy for me, which you see a bright seagull logo and then log in with your username and password. Even when you change it, it will still be admin. Even when you change it to something of your own. The next time you reboot your modem, it's prompt you to actually...
But before you go into an angry rant about your modem,
I know, we have to continue, I know.
let's go to the workstation. I leave that all to you because that's not my line of expertise.
Well, I'm actually...
Since you were talking about the Apple workstation, can you compare it?
Actually...
It looks like an Apple workstation, the big round thingy.
Yeah, actually it does. I have to say, I saw the review of it. It has apparently an NVIDIA Quadro. Why is hardware.info not giving me the specs I want?
It's not as expensive though. It's about 2,000 euros for the low end. It has an Intel Core i9 9900K in the best configuration, which is yeah, it's like also like a consumer processor, but it's made for workstations.
Yeah, so I was actually looking into it when I was watching Hardware.info TV. I have to say TV. Let's see, where is the review of it instead of like the video, because it's giving me the video instead of the review itself. But what I've actually heard in the video is that it's actually quite handsome looking device. Yeah, and then I have to speak of the internals because the rest I don't care.
If you click on the system under the video, you can see the specs as well.
Yeah,
I think in the video they were actually debating like if you could use it as a workstation, or you also could use it as a high-end PC. But if I see the specs, it's like, it has parts of a high-end PC, but it's clearly meant as a workstation. It seems to be optimized as well for all kinds of video processing software and stuff.
Well, it has a Core i7, which is actually quite...
Oh, an i9 even.
Yeah, some have an i9, some have an i7. I picked the i7 model.
But well, actually, only 16 gigs of RAM. It's not too much, actually.
No, because they had the 32 gigabyte version in their video, and then I was thinking, okay, that's actually pretty decent these days. But only 16 gigabyte. If you classify it as a workstation, then
it's not a lot.
You have to do it like a workstation, and then you have to go higher in RAM.
Yeah, it's weird. If you take out the video card, it looks more like a high-end desktop.
Because the GPU, the Quadro P4000, is actually a quite decent GPU. So if you are calling it a workstation, which you are doing with that card, you have to give it a little bit more RAM. I mean, because you are actually paying for that price. I mean,
it's quite a difference in price though. Some websites have it for 2,700, and the most expensive one has it for 2,900. So it saves you 200 euros. It's crazy.
Yep. So yeah, I think it's a little bit overpriced because the way they're actually classifying it as a workstation. Because the only thing it's actually a workstation is because of the GPU and not because of the CPU, because it's still a consumer CPU. So in my opinion, it is quite funny. They actually did a good thing. It's actually a real Apple competitor in price.
Yeah.
In price, it will be...
And it looks also...
well,
looks like an Apple.
The other one is just a cheese grater on Apple. But Apple's Mac Pro, if I have to compare it to the latest Mac Pro, then actually Apple has a little bit more expansion room than actually this machine has. But if you compare it to, like we call the trash can or the circular device,
looks a little bit like a trash can.
Then actually this one might be even better, but we have to see actually when it actually comes to market and we actually can buy it. I think you can buy it, but you actually have to see how it actually is. I mean, on the specification, in my opinion, the only thing that makes it a little bit workstation is GPU, but for the rest, in my opinion, it's just an overpriced computer.
Yeah.
But the fact is, they have to use a custom motherboard, logic board, give the name. They have to use everything as custom. So, and how easy is it to actually upgrade your Quadro? I mean,
Yeah.
to
You
use
can just
this.
switch it out for a new one. I mean,
Well, actually, I think it's actually soldered onto the board
oh
because,
really?
well, there's not that much room to actually for a dedicated GPU,
Right.
or they
So
actually.
is it not a chip then, or?
I think it's a chip.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking based on the information. I can't really see that they actually.
Well, I think you should watch the video, Ronnie.
I did, but it was like a few hours ago.
I watched it too, but most of the things they were talking about is like, I don't know. This is not my expertise. I have no clue what I can do with a workstation.
No, actually, you can do the same, but only workstation are more like classified to actually
A
do video
workstation.
rendering stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. To do editing and video
Mm.
rendering and maybe
Yeah,
programming, all kinds of that stuff.
yeah, that's actually what they classify as workstation. But in my thing, it's just a overrated consumer
Yeah,
model with a
looks like it.
classified GPU in it for like workstation. That's in my opinion, and that's a little bit of a shame. If they actually call it workstation, then they have to go with the 32 GB model only, with a high-end CPU in like the server range, like Xeon or even Threadripper in my that part. You have to go way bigger. But it's just too consumer for me, so I won't buy
Yeah.
it because I'll actually make my own computer, which will be faster than that stupid machine, but maybe also cost less money because I can actually change out the hardware and the cases. I have to admit my case will look a little bit different, a little bit, very different.
Well, most people under the especially I didn't see any reactions under the article, but now under the YouTube video, most people say like it is indeed a glorified desktop PC because it's just a PC with a Quadro. That's it.
That what this actually. That's only in my opinion that actually makes it a little bit more like higher than a consumer level.
Oh well, maybe it works well. Maybe if let's wait until they test it to see what we can
Yeah, let's see.
say about it.
In my opinion, it's way too overpriced. So that's only my opinion.
All right.
And since we are able to say that because we are autistic as hell, so yeah.
Well, I can also say it without being autistic.
Sure. And did you
It's
also?
overpriced. It's a bunch of crap.
Yeah. Well, that's what
You like
actually,
crapple.
that is what I say with a lot of products these days.
It's crap. It's all crap. Ah, throw it out of the window.
I will never pay 580 euros for a Chromebook. No way in hell. Even when
I have a Chromebook, but I got it for free.
even,
Oh no, I paid 50 euros.
even when they are getting better, I won't pay more than 200 euros for a Chromebook.
A Chromebook is a nice piece of equipment, but it's just like it's a glorified phone, basically, a glorified tablet.
Yeah, but it's actually you can use it as a laptop, which is actually
You
quite
can
cool.
make calls with it. I mean, it does the same thing as your Android phone. It's exactly the same, but just with a keyboard, and you can connect a mouse to it and some extra data. But yeah, the thing itself doesn't contain a lot of data. Actually, it's a bit annoying.
Well, I was actually looking into all the. Yeah, no, there are actually not a lot of tech deals where I'm thinking, okay, this is a good deal. This is what we have to mention.
I was thinking a Chromebook is fine
Mhm.
as long as you would be willing to accept the fact that you could not use Microsoft apps like Excel or Windows or
Actually,
Word or something.
my younger sister had used her HP Chromebook for like 4 years.
Yeah.
She actually sold it for like $50, and she paid 200 for it.
Yeah.
But which is actually still a good value. She used it to watch YouTube videos and all
Yeah.
her blogging things.
Yeah.
She said, well, it works pretty well. The only thing you have to miss is like Skype, for example. Well, actually, it will work at some point.
Does it work with Skype? Is another Skype app for Android?
There is, but it was never really designed for Chromebook because
Right.
Chromebook, even when it has Android as the basis as well, it's more like a glorified Chrome browser.
Yeah. Well, then you can. There are other apps as well. You don't have to use Skype. I mean, you can use like we always use Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. You can video call through WhatsApp nowadays.
Too, but my sister actually loved it. She said it
Yeah,
was
there
a
are
good,
workarounds for everything basically. So if you don't really
device.
mind,
The battery was pretty good, but at the
yeah,
end, that was the thing with
the
HP
battery is really.
Chromebook. The battery was actually because the laptop was cheap as well. Well, let's talk in Chromebook, otherwise people will get upset that I call a Chromebook a laptop, which actually is people.
It is a laptop with Chromebook on it, so.
But we will call it for this time Chromebookie. So my sister's Chromebookie from HP had a very good battery, but after a year it became weak. Because they used actually because it was a cheap Chromebookie in the first place. With cheap, I will define it. I will define cheap for you guys. It's 200 euros for a plastic device with a screen and a logic board in it, and a battery that's cheap nowadays. So that's cheap in my opinion. So actually the battery died, and she said, "Yeah, I can't really use it." So I actually had to fabric my own battery for her. So actually, I went to the store, and I said, "Okay, I need this. Is actually the model. It's actually quite flat." So I actually soldered in my own battery, which actually made of like a lot of D cells, a little small cells. Actually connected them all together, soldering them together. And she was getting 50% more capacity than the original battery. It was also a little bit heavier though, but she actually
Yeah.
liked it that it was a little bit heavier, so that it was a little bit more sturdy.
It's a question if that is a good thing for the laptop, but.
No, actually, I made it a little bit heavier so that she was complaining when it was on her lap. When the screen was open, the screen was heavier than the rest of the Chromebook, so it will actually flip over.
I think um, I think Chromebooks are in general still a bit of a success. They're not a failure. I think they're
No,
sold pretty well.
if you would ask me that same question like 4 or 5 years ago, I would actually say different answer.
Failure.
I would
Yeah.
say failure. But
But
actually, they are
nowadays
doing
it's doing well.
quite well because you don't need to charge it that often. It's a very simple device because you can do everything on it which you actually wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Even you can
there
do
are
a little
apps
bit.
for everything. So
You can also do a little bit of gaming.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it
Although
actually.
Fortnite doesn't work because it always complains that you have a different version. It's not optimized. Blah blah blah. So that's stupid. Fortnite never works on not on my phone, not on my Chromebook. I don't know where Fortnite works on, but not on my devices.
It doesn't even work on my current HTC phone, which I also use as a second driver. It has all the specs that it needs to run
Yeah,
it.
for me too, but it doesn't
Uh,
run.
Even on my iPad, it doesn't work. Even on my iPad Pro. Yes, people, I have an iPad Pro. No, it wasn't new. Some guy actually dropped it, and I bought it on eBay.
And
So
I installed it on my laptop, my Windows laptop, and it works fine. So it's really stupid that it doesn't really work on mobile devices.
no, I think it's just
Never understood
also
why.
glorified with all their shit. So
Well, anyway, it is still a nice device. I own it, but yeah, I'm still not sure what to do with it because I never use it. So.
what are you watching in the background?
I don't know. This is some weird football information. Well, I don't know.
Okay, they're actually stupid.
Actually, I look a bit like Jesus with that light radiating from my head. You see?
Actually, you do, yeah.
Ah.
I actually couldn't bother to install a better light for this live stream.
Yeah, I have enough light here, I think. So it's pretty light inside here.
Yep, I will have to still buy some lights. Actually, I already have them, but I wasn't even bothered for today to install them. I couldn't be bothered at all. So yeah, that were actually all the topics that we had.
Yeah,
And I'm looking
indeed.
into a few tech deals, but there are not really that much tech deals. I actually think
It's a bit quiet on the techie market. I mean, it's the end of it's mid-August, so there's not a lot happening.
no true. But I think we are 45 minutes almost into this live stream since we have no more topics and we can rant a lot.
Yay!
Yeah, which we are not going to do, people. I know you love it, but we're not going to do it. I'm sorry. Since I have to go to bed, I have to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, even on my holiday. And even Mark has to go to bed at some point.
Yeah, but only have to get up at 7:30.
Oh, that's a little bit earlier than I.
Yeah, I start at 10, so it's all right.
Yay! I don't have to start at all at work. Yay!
Yeah, you're off, but you're playing with children all day long.
That sounds so weird if you say it that way. Even my artistic brain can define when you are saying something weird.
That's a nasty thing to
So
say.
it was actually a child there. He said, "I recognize you." And I said, "Okay, yeah, you are on YouTube." And I said, "No." "Yes, you are." I said, "No." "Yes, you are." It was an 8-year-old child was having a discussion with me that I wasn't on YouTube. An 8-year-old.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
I'm 29 and he was 8, so there's a 21 years age difference. And I was actually having an argument with him because I like
Sounds fun.
that's because my brain has to argue with him. And he was actually looking at me. "Yes, I saw you. You're playing games. You're playing Fortnite with another guy." So
Yeah, that's correct.
I think he actually saw the No Such Gaming Friends videos, which we didn't make in quite some time. It's actually quite funny that even people that are actually watching bullshit on the YouTube, that actually some children actually find our videos.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they watch Fortnite, we did play a lot of Fortnite for a while, so.
Yeah, so it's actually quite funny. So that actually children are actually watching it, which I actually didn't think would happen. Because we are actually
Which actually we set it up to be age restricted above 18, but
yeah, apparently that doesn't really work.
8-year-olds are
So I
watching
was
it.
actually quite concerned if he was going to his mommy and then say, "Hey, I found a YouTuber I watched with all the bad language,"
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
and then you see him here, which is actually a normal person. Well, he's looking normal, but he isn't. So.
Ah, well, I mean, yeah, shit happens.
Well, I have to say, when I'm actually there, I have to think to their logic. I have to look at it and I'm thinking, okay, is that logical? They're actually making something and I'm actually looking into it. She said, "Yeah, can you do that with this balloon?" And I said, "Why should you want to do that?" "Yeah, I want to even have it up in the sky with a little rope on it." And I said, "Dude, there is no gas in it, so no gas, so it won't do anything. It's actually just laying on the ground." "Yeah, but okay, I don't see the logic of it." So yeah.
You should have farted in the balloon. Here's some gas. It's methane. Ugh.
So I was also responsible for all the drinking and food as well. A little boy came to me and said she had said, or he or she, I don't care. "Can I have something to drink?" And I said, "No." "Yes, but I want something to drink." And I said, "Well," I said, "No, you can't have anything. Shut it." "Yeah, but I want something to drink." I said, "Well, you can drink water." "No, I want lemonade." And I said, "No, that's too expensive. You can't drink it." Because you have to go here with your team leader, so your team leader has to get it. So I was actually lying a little bit to him. I said, "Well, your team leader has to get the drink for you. He has to drink it, and I have to give the empty cup to you." And he was actually thinking, "Okay."
Why are you withholding fluids from thirsty children, Ronnie?
Because I was actually not ready
You're
to do
such a
that.
monster.
So
Well, there's a little canal. There's water in it, so drink from it. Drink water from
there we have the Rhine, and there we have the dike.
Yeah,
So
that's a big river. Just take a little sip.
go to the Hague,
Good
whatever.
water. It's if you pick it up, it's only a little bit brown.
And maybe a little bit salty. So
I don't think so. It's coming from the Rhine. I mean, when it's arrived in the Netherlands, yeah, it's probably really dirty from Germany.
and people are actually saying, "How the hell can you get internet?" Well, I had internet because I had my own Wi-Fi there. Because I was actually still receiving my home's Wi-Fi network. Because I can, and they didn't have to. They didn't have any Wi-Fi, and their 4G connection there is quite terrible. Because that's the whole 4G connection in my town is terrible. So they're actually thinking, "We have to play a YouTube video." We can't because the connection is bad. And I was the only person with a laptop and a phone with a Wi-Fi connection.
So did you make a video or?
No, actually I had to use it for my music computer. So I was thinking, "Yay, I have Wi-Fi," and I was saying that to everyone, "I have Wi-Fi, I have Wi-Fi."
What the hell? Poor children.
Well, those poor children don't even have to use their phone. So actually, one child is actually using their phone. I said, Okay, I know you like your phone. I know you're
Should put your
married.
phone away.
I know you are married to it. But if you use it again, I will actually get this water and I actually threw it.
Throw it in the Rhine.
Uh, yeah, but it's waterproof. And I said no. If I use salt and a little bit of syrup, it won't longer be waterproof.
No, it's not. You want to test it? Floop.
I also saw a 10-year-old with an iPhone 10, and I was thinking, oh my
Oh.
god, I'm actually quite shocked that a child has a phone that costs 1,000
Some
euros.
parents are crazy.
Yep. So let's end this live stream
Yeah,
since we are
I'm getting a bit tired.
Yep, and I will say good night, live stream, tschüss.
Cheers, bye bye.
Servus Leute. Tschüss, bye bye.
Tschüss.
Tschüss. Moin moin, servus. Grüß Gott.
Tschüss.